everyone, this is Tom from Dirk Witte Music Store in Utrecht, the Netherlands, and today we are taking a look at a very exciting artist signature Epiphone electric guitar that has been kind of long awaited. The rumors were true, and this is just a fantastic and a super cool release for none other than Jem Archer, who is a British rock guitarist best known to play with the very much legendary rock band, Britpop band Oasis, who are now just insanely popular because they are doing their widely successful reunion tour. And so they have then teamed up with Epiphone and with Gibson to release a number of signature models, and this one is the Jem Archer Epiphone Sheraton electric guitar in a stunning cherry red finish. To be more exact, actually, this is the Epiphone Masterbilt Sheraton, so Jem Archer Sheraton. So this is really kind of like of the highest grade with all of the highest grade parts and specs. And it is insanely cool and just insanely beautiful, if you ask me. So yeah, Jem Archer, best known to be the guitarist of the legendary, again, rock band Oasis, British rock band from Manchester, who are now on their widely successful reunion tour, going like all around the world. I think that at the time of filming they are like in Japan or something like that, and you can actually see Jem Archer play a vintage 1966 Epiphone Sheraton electric guitar that looks just like this. Obviously not exactly, because that one is an actual 1960s one, but this model is then based on that Epiphone Sheraton from 1966, and they have done just a fantastic job. This is a really fantastic semi-hollow body Epiphone electric guitar, and what is cool is that this model, the Sheraton, is really kind of like a unique model to theirs, so to Epiphone, as in that there's no Gibson Sheraton. Obviously this is very much like inspired by ES3 35s, 45s and 55s. This being a semi-hollow body electric guitar with 2.9s and with the trapeze tailpiece and all of that, but it is still really its own model. So that is what I think is just incredibly cool. So yeah, insanely cool guitar. So let's dive into the specs. So it is a semi-hollow body construction. So the body is then made up out of a laminated maple on the top, sides and back, and obviously in this really stunning cherry finish. And it also has kind of like this, the kind of like faded glass finish or like aged glass finish. I'm not sure what they call it nowadays because they have changed the name a number of times. But it is not glass, but it is also not quite satin. It's really kind of like in between, but not so like the inspired by Gibson custom models from like 2 years back. This does lean more towards the glass side, so it does look a lot more authentic in my opinion, that it does look old instead of like more so like a dulled down satin finish. Again, this is more leaning towards the glass side, and you can actually also feel that, but it is just a really fine feeling finish, and it also looks really killer if you ask me. And that is then all over, so on the body and on the neck. The Sheraton is kind of like Epiphone's ES355, as in that it gets kind of like the more fancy appointments. So you've got multiply binding all over. So on the top we've got some 7-ply binding, and on the back we've got some 3-ply binding. Dual sound holes, the F holes obviously very much ES in style. And what's also really cool, this being a Masterbilt, you get all of the premium parts and specs. So you've got some real deal Gibson mini humbucker pickups, obviously all done in gold, also kind of like ES355 style, so all gold hardware. And these sound really fantastic. Fun fact, I actually own a 2023 Epiphone 150th anniversary Sheraton, which is pretty much, it is really similar to this guitar. Like that's also red, but it's kind of like in a glass finish, and it also then has the tremotone vibrato trem system. But so this is very much like familiar territory for me, and I really love that guitar, so naturally I also really love this guitar. We have then got a kind of like an ABR1 style bridge. It is not a true ABR1, but it is kind of like the more premium ABR1 or Tune-O-Matic bridge that you'd find also on the Epiphone inspired by Gibson custom models. So it is a little bit more narrow and a little bit more true to a real ABR1, but it is not a true ABR1 in the sense that the posts, but gotta be careful, are drilled directly into the body. So you do got those studs that are then drilled into the body or like installed into the body, and then the posts screwed onto that, and then the bridge put onto that. What is kind of nice about this style of bridge as compared to like a real ABR1 is that you can still adjust it also with a screwdriver in the in the holes on each side, so that you are not only limited to the thumb wheels, which under tension may be a little bit hard to turn. So that's actually really cool to see and really nice to have that included. Got this trapeze tailpiece. I'm guessing that on his original 1966 Epiphone Sheraton, I think that that is not stock, because if it did come with a trapeze tailpiece, then it would probably be like the two-piece trapeze tailpiece, so that you got like one long part and one short part. Faux tortoiseshell pickguard, also with the multiply binding, also very much like a premium type of a spec and a premium look. Also have that like on the EOS 355s by Gibson. And then obviously got this very cool Epiphone E, which is a sticker, so in case you don't really love that, you can then remove that. I got your bracket over here, also obviously done in gold. Premium parts again, so we've got a Switchcraft 3-way pickup selector switch that you'd also find on Gibson electric guitars, as well as CTS pots with, I believe, also some Mallory capacitors. Yeah, Mallory capacitors, and then 500K CTS potentiometers. So also very much premium parts. Input jack also over here, also made by Switchcraft. Moving on to the neck, that is a mahogany neck, a one-piece mahogany neck with a rosewood fingerboard. So we are done with the laurel. We get rosewood, especially on like the premium models, which this one definitely is, which also then bound in some multiply binding, and also gets the very fancy inlay. So that is then a mother of pearl and abalone blend. So you've then got that abalone triangle in the middle, and then the outer parts are made out of mother of pearl. Looks really, really cool. As for the profile, the Epiphone website describes it as a 60 C shape, and been a while probably since I felt a 60 C shape, because I do feel that this is a little bit on the thin side. So not really beefy. You do got a little bit of shoulder. So a little bit like in between a C and a D shape, if you ask me, but overall just very, very comfortable, also due to that kind of like aged glass finish. Feels really, really good in the hands, but it is not really beefy, so it's kind of like on the medium to a little bit slim side. So if you don't have the big of hands, this is probably a very nice neck for you to that just plays really, really well. Moving on to the nut, that is then a Graphtec nut, and what's actually a pretty cool little detail, kind of like a very nerdy detail, is that this nut is not as thick as you'd find on most Epiphone guitars. It's kind of like the thickness that you'd find on Gibson guitars, actually. So that is also a very nitpicky little detail that does tell you that this is kind of like of a different caliber. And yeah, like I said, it's made out of Graphtec, so that is self-lubricating, so you got increased tuning stability. That is very, very nice to have. And then this very, very fancy looking headstock, obviously. It's kind of like the narrow style Epiphone headstock that you would also have found on late 1960s Epiphone Sheratons, just like his, with the very beautiful fine inlay done in mother of pearl, as well as your script Epiphone logo. Trussel cover also with that E emblem. Then on the back we've got actually a stinger, so that's also very, very cool. And a Gem Archer signature, just reading Gem, so G-E-M. And these Grover Rotomatic tuners, but another nerdy detail, these are actually kind of like the Grover milk bottle style tuners. So if you're familiar with a like very old school Grover Rotomatic tuners, these are those. So the casing is just a little bit different, like the let's see, like this part over here where the tuner kind of like goes in, kind of like has this rounded off beveled, kind of like a milk bottle that you like get from the milkman type of a shape. That is why these are then called the milk bottle Rotomatic tuners. So they are not the modern style tuners that you find on a lot of other electric guitars made by Gibson, as well as by Epiphone. So that's also just a very, very impressive attention to detail, if you ask me. So I think that is very, very cool to see. And they also just work really, really great. So yeah, last thing to mention, also comes with a hard shell case. So you really got the full package with this just a fantastic Epiphone electric guitar. Me personally, big Oasis fan, really love their music. I really kind of like grew up with their music. I remember like driving to France for like summer holidays with my family, so with my dad and mom. Then my dad would be playing What's the Story, Morning Glory on repeat. So yeah, that's very much ingrained into my long-term memory. And apart from that, I just really love their music. So this is just a very cool release to see. And also really cool to see a model that is very much similar to my own electric guitar, my Epiphone Sheraton 150th anniversary. And yeah, I just think that this is just a fantastic guitar. Looks killer, sounds killer, plays killer. And yeah, if you are a Oasis fan, which a lot of people are, especially nowadays, like they are so back, definitely grab one while you can, or one of the other models while you still can, because they are expected to sell very, very soon. So yeah, awesome guitar. Let's hear what it sounds like. But first, if you're interested in this brand new Masterbilt Epiphone Gem Archer Sheraton in a beautiful cherry red finish, be sure to head over to the links in the description for further details. If you enjoyed this demo, be sure to like the video and to subscribe to the channel for more cool weekly demos of cool electric guitars like these, or cool acoustics, bass guitars even, of that really cool stuff. Also be sure to like us and follow us on the socials, Instagram and Facebook. Links are also in the description. With all that being said, let's hear what this really, really killer brand new Gem Archer Epiphone Sheraton sounds like. Going to be playing it through this Fender Pro reverb from the late 1970s. First be playing you the clean tones, and then I'll be playing you the dirty tones, which I'll be using a non-horsey clone. So let's move on to that part, and let's take this incredibly killer, really, really awesome Epiphone Gem Archer Masterbilt Sheraton for a spin.
you.